field. Going back on it is Ethier, back to the wall. It is gone! Grand slam, Michael Franco! And the Phillies take the lead. It's a 5-1 ball game here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Gorgeous night for another baseball game here at Citizens Bank Park and a little softball. That's right, the 37th annual PAL Celebrity Softball game took place before the start of the game. And yes, Greg Murphy did take some swings and some falls. We'll talk about that a little later on. But let's first talk about this Phillies team that has really turned things around since the All-Star break. We first have to look back to the 14 games before the break where they were 2-12. Look at the starters ERA and the bullpen ERA. Now you fast forward since the break, the best record in baseball. The run differential is the best in baseball. The bullpen with an ERA of 2.03. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis and Matt Stairs. We're back up here in the booth. We had a great time last night down in the first row of the Diamond Club. We're going to talk to Ben about pitching because you didn't seem all that excited about Michael Franco's grand slam. Is that all right?
I was.
We'll see about that. Let's talk to Matt about Michael Franco and the success he's had. You know, people talking about Matt Duffy, Chris Bryant, Jock Peterson, Noah Syndergaard for Rookie of the Year. The conversation has to include Michael Franco.
Well, it has to, and I don't mind it's not being right now because that way you go under the radar. We talk about the whole year with Michael Franco making adjustments. He'll have good games, he'll have some bad games. He overswings. Last night, his third at bat, he had a pitch to hit. Seemed like he was a little anxious, he wanted to go out and get it. Now all of a sudden he comes up with his fourth at bat with the bases loaded. They bring in a right-hander, gets a hanging curveball, and he allows the ball to get deep. And that's what good hitters do. They let the ball get deep, has a nice easy swing, and drives the ball to left field. Younger players think they see a fastball coming down the middle or a hanging curveball. They have to go get it. They stop trusting their hands. Well, that fourth at bat, he trusted his hands. He let the ball get deep, hit a blast to deep left field, and came out for a curtain call.
Well, it was nice to see the curtain call. We haven't seen many of those this year. Well, here are the season numbers. Now, you combine on-base percentage and slugging percentage. That's what they call the OPS. It's the best among rookies in baseball. It's a pretty amazing number.
Well, it is, and it's just going up. The more he's playing, the more confidence he's getting. He's hitting doubles. What I like about Michael Franco is that he'll take a huge swing. He'll fall, the helmet will fall off, but he'll make the adjustment, hit the ball to right center. Now, all of a sudden, his bat's going through the zone a little quicker. Then, all of a sudden, you get a hanging curveball, and that's what happened last night with the grand slam.
All right, well, that was part of the story last night. The other part of the story was the pitching. The Phillies bullpen needed Ken Giles to go an inning and a third to pick up the save.
Pete Mackanin said, I wanted to win the ball game. That's why you saw him come in the eighth inning there. And Kenny Giles did a phenomenal job. I'm anxious to see if he's able to bounce back today. I doubt he will be in there, but you see some of the punch-outs last night, all with the fastball. Ironically enough, he didn't have very good fastball command last night. Was able to get back in counts with that slider, and that's a pitch that's really been an equalizer for him. When he's struggling with that fastball command, he can get back in with that slider. Now, the one thing I'd like to see him do is work ahead of these guys with that fastball because it's 100 miles an hour. Even if you're sitting and looking for that fastball, he can still throw it by you.
Well, we'll see if he is available tonight. If he is not, Luis Garcia will be the closer for the Phils in Game 2 of this series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But first, it'll be Aaron Harang, 19th start of the year against Brett Anderson, making his 21st start. Lineups at first pitch when we return to Philadelphia. He zapped him back, and the Fanatic went falling to the ground. There's Jimmy. He was in good spirits today. Walked in with them. He was very excited about the reaction that the fans had for him last night. He was honored by the reaction of the fans last night. Let's take a look at the Dodgers lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. It'll be Rollins, Kendrick, and Gonzalez, then Ethier, Puig, and Peterson, followed by Alberto Callaspo, A.J. Ellis, and Brett Anderson. They'll face Aaron Harang. And here comes Jimmy Rollins. You can hear the crowd murmuring somewhat. Aaron's numbers: 19th start, 5-11, 3.97 ERA. Brand new crowd, so brand new acknowledgement. Little hug from the city of Philadelphia. Rollins swings at the first pitch. Out toward shallow right field. Francoeur is there. And one pitch, one away. And Howie Kendrick is due up. All right, so the scouting report on Aaron Harang.
We take a look at average fastball sit 89.4 miles an hour. Really a 5-pitch pitcher. Decent record against the Dodgers overall with a 4.73 ERA, but he needs to keep that pitch count down. First pitch outs like that one right there will really help him and the bullpen out.
Well, here's Howie Kendrick. Kendrick takes a strike. It's 0-1. Kendrick last night was 0 for 4. He did score a run. He walked once. That one's whacked it to left field, a base hit. So Kendrick is aboard. So a 1-out single that brings Adrian Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez had 2 hits and 4 at-bats in yesterday's game. Struck out a couple times. Overall batting .295 with 21 home runs and 61 runs batted in. Takes pitch high. It's 1-0. Last time out, Aaron wound up going 5 innings. He allowed 9 hits and 1 earned run. Phillies won the ball game 4-1. It was his first start since the 1st of July, so nearly 30 days in between starts. He did not have any rehab assignment before that first start. Said he was a little rusty, but still felt good that he got the team the victory.
Well, and that's what the veterans do. If they don't have the great stuff, they find a way to give you an opportunity to win games. He needs to get the ball down the zone, though. Kendricks with a high changeup, the base at the left. Get down.
Foul tip, and it's 2-1. Well, he's got some guys in this lineup that have seen him before. They know him quite well. In fact, Adrian Gonzalez is one of those guys. 10 for 23 against Aaron Harang. Rollins has seen him the most. Rollins had 46 at-bats coming into this game. Two balls, one strike. Play, and it's 2-2. Dodgers come into this ball game sitting atop the National League West, 2 games ahead of the San Francisco Giants. Giants are in action tonight down in Atlanta. Their game started basically the same time as this one did. Boy, a pretty big delay by Aaron Harang trying to keep the base runner and the hitter off balance before he threw the pitch. Yeah,
he's holding a little longer. If you see Kendrick, he's going to jab him a little bit, but he wants to go, but it's a nice job. Now don't be surprised if you see a quick pitch right here or a toss over to first.
Ben, as a catcher, did you know when he was going to delay like that if a pitcher had that style?
Not really. I mean, I would just make sure I wouldn't get too far on the balls of my toes anticipating that pitch. So the last thing you want to do as a catcher is get out. Basically, it's like a skier getting out in front of his skis. You're going to lose balance. It's not going to be an athletic position.
Also, I think you'd cramp up after a while if you're out there too long. Carlos has caught Aaron Harang enough that he probably understands his style. 2-2 to Gonzalez. A couple foul balls. Curveball whacked into right field, a base hit. So back-to-back singles by the Dodgers. Now that puts runners on first and second with one man down. And for Adrian Gonzalez, that's his 21st hit since the All-Star break. And it comes at the end of a 7-pitch AB.
That's a perfect example of what Matt was talking about last night, how long his bat stays on plane through the zone. Yes, he was out in front, but his hands were back. And if your swing is that level through the zone, even though you're out in front, you're still able to make good hard contact.
There's Andre Ethier. 12 home runs this year for Ethier. 38 runs batted in. He has picked up 5 hits in his last 3 ball games. Takes a pitch down low. 1 ball, no strikes. That was a changeup from Aaron Harang. Well, he's feeling for it right now.
He's not missing by much. Just Noble in the corners a little too much. That's his best fastball he's thrown tonight. Yeah, the thing that's tough with Aaron is that he's following Jerome Williams, who the velocity is the same. Curveball's pretty much the same. Changeup's the same. And the cutter's the same. The only thing that's different is that Aaron Harang throws a better slider.
And he's taller.
Oh, yeah, he's tall. Chopper right side. Hernandez will get to it. They'll get 1 at first. 4-3 on the putout. All right, gentlemen, it's time now for our Nissan keys to the game.
I'll start with this one, and it worked last night when Maikel Franco hit the home run. Set the table. Guys at the top need to get on to get some of these right-handed hitters some opportunities with runners in scoring position.
And mine is for versus Brett Anderson. Look for a ball up in the zone. Sliders, his out pitch, licks it in 222. Everything else 278 and above. So get him up in the zone. Try to lay off that slider. Harder said than done. Easier said than done. I guess it could be harder said than done too.
There's Puig, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Well, Harang now with 14 pitches so far in this inning. Last night, Puig was 1 for 5. He's only had 6 at-bats against Harang, but he's made those at-bats count. Curveball ripped deep down the left field line, and the Dodgers will have the lead. A 3-run home run and a hanger. Yasiel Puig, his 8th homer of the year. So the Dodgers jump out to an early lead.
These stats just blow my mind. Talk about a hanger. That was one right there. Aaron Harang knew it right away, as did Yasiel Puig. He let everyone in the stadium know that ball was out. You can see, I mean, that's almost like the one Franco got to hit last night. Just a hanger just sitting right there.
So Puig comes through with the home run. Now the Dodgers strike first. And here's Jock Peterson. And a pitch low. It's 1-0. Peterson walked 3 times in last night's ball game. And then struck out in his final at bat. 2 balls and no strikes. Now in the glass is half empty category, or half full category, the Phillies are averaging 5.5 runs per game since the All-Star break. That's a great number.
I wonder if those numbers coming into tonight's ball game were in Aaron Harang's head against Yasiel Puig. I think they'd have to be. Pitchers, you know how hitters never forget, oh yeah, I got that guy, he's in my book, blah blah blah. Pitchers remember everything. They remember stats, strikeouts, pitch counts when it comes to certain hitters. If you have a guy that's going into a ball game 5 for 6 off you, you're going to remember that.
With all those extra base hits too.
Well, if that's the case, then you have an open base.
That's true too.
Throw 4 fastballs a foot outside and put them on.
Here's Callaspo with a runner at first, and he takes it well inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Callaspo playing for his 6th team. He had a base hit in yesterday's game, as you see Harang's pitch count.
So in Peterson's last 5 plate appearances, he's 0 for 1. He had 3 walks last night, and this one is his first AB tonight.
Yeah, we mentioned it last night. He strikes out a lot, but he does walk a lot. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Callaspo. Last night it was Alex Guerrero who was playing third base. And Guerrero struck out his first 3 times in that game. There's a strike, and it's 1-2. Trying to get a curveball by him, and he just tapped it foul. Remains 1-2.
Make a good pitch here. Get your offense in there. Let him start hitting. Wants to steal. He heard me.
He was dancing out there quite a bit.
Inside, 3-2. Well, now he'll be moving on this pitch with the count 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A.J. Ellis waits on deck. This is a Dodgers team that has scored 438 runs this year, which is 4th most in the National League. And they're already scored 3 here in the first. Runner goes. Ball is pulled to second. Cesar Hernandez is up with it, and the side is retired. But it took 27 pitches for Aaron Harang and a 3-run home run by Yasiel Puig that has given Brett Anderson a 3-zip lead as we go to the bottom of the first. take a look at their lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. After Cesar Hernandez, it's Odubel Herrera and Maikel Franco. Jeff Frank Corbat's cleanup. Ryan Howard 5th. Darren Ruff 6th. Bottom third of Galvis, Ruiz, and Harang. And they'll face lefty Brett Anderson, who delivers the first pitch low. 1 ball and no strikes. Brett Anderson 5-6 on the year with an ERA over 3.14. One ball, 1 strike to him.
Check out the scouting report. 4-pitch pitcher, average velocity is 90.7, and he has a very good pickoff move at first base.
Dodgers signed him to a 1-year contract, $10 million, which is seemingly excessive for a guy who's been injured as much as he has. But he's been healthy except for a sore Achilles a couple starts ago this year, and he picks up a strikeout to begin the bottom of the first.
Saw last night, he did get a couple heaters to hit, did Cesar, but they really went to off-speed pitches later on the ball game. Now you see it again.
Now Odubel Herrera. Odubel's hit in 7 straight games. He takes the first pitch for a ball. 367 during those 7 games, 283 overall. First among rookies in doubles with 22. Off the plate, up the first base line, and foul. How about last 24 games for Odubel Herrera? He has a base hit in 21 of those 24 games.
Been swinging about well. Now he's in the tough spot right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes versus a guy that has a very good slider. This is usually where he throws the slider 53% of the time with 2 strikes versus hitters.
You know, I know Franco did hit that grand slam last night, but what set that up was him laying off that 3-2 breaking ball in the dirt last evening.
Punches that one toward third. Callaspo's throw is late. Ooh, they just got him. Boy, that's awfully close. Pete Buchanan, Larry Boa both going to get up. Odubel or Juan Samuel, neither one really said anything. That was a bang-bang play. Callaspo didn't have a whole lot on that throw.
He was out, and I don't know what Callaspo was doing. Ball had a parachute on it going across the diamond.
He's out by a half step, as that replay showed. Maikel Franco's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Well, yeah, the hero in last night's game, Maikel Franco, and, you know, we've got a chance to watch him all season long. And, Tom, you and I were having this conversation yesterday because the national networks have yet to pick up on the idea that perhaps he should be in the conversation when it comes to Rookie of the Year. And if you take a look at his numbers and compare them to the other guys that are in the conversation, Maikel sets up very well against them. You know, Chris Bryant is the one rookie who's getting a lot of the attention. Well, his average is down. Now he has 14 home runs, 61 RBIs, which is pretty impressive. Also a solid defensive player. Jock Peterson batting just .222. He's got 21 home runs, but he has 1 less RBI than Maikel Franco does. Matt Duffy's had a terrific year, batting .309 as a rookie, 9 home runs, over 40 RBIs. He most definitely should be in the conversation. And then if you want to look at pitchers, certainly Syndergaard with New York has had a terrific season as well. 100 strikeouts and ERA under 3. So those are the guys that are being talked about. But as you and I pointed out yesterday, Maikel's not really being talked about yet. But I think we all agree that maybe he should be.
Well, and from a sabermetric standpoint, if you want to throw that into the conversation, Chris Bryant's WAR is the best out of all the rookies. Wins above replacement, but Maikel Franco's OPS, which this is part of it, the power on base percentage is the highest among rookies. He took that hanging breaking ball and put it out of the yard for a grand slam. That one's up the third base line. He slips, barehanded by Callaspo. One hop throw off the glove of Gonzalez into foul territory, and Franco will be safe at first. And we'll see how they score that.
Well, it's not a bad thing to be under the radar of not being able to talk about the Rookie of the Year. You see here he has that big swing. Slips right there. Good throw. He's going to be at first base. Good play right there. Usually Adrian Gonzalez comes up with that throw. But it's not a bad thing when you're going under the radar. All of a sudden now the hype goes on all these other guys. The next thing you know, there's more scouting reports done, different ways you're going to be pitching certain guys. Hey, you know what? Stay below the radar. Then when it counts, all of a sudden, boom, your name's up there.
Jeff Francoeur, a little bloop out to left center field for a base hit. Franco will stop at second. He better get back, and he does. And the Phillies are first and second with 2 men down for Ryan Howard.
I know the options last year were limited, and Jacob deGrom earned that. But in my opinion, my humble opinion, it's hard to give it to a guy that plays every 5th day. I'm just looking at it. No, even Cy Young, obviously that's going to go to the pitcher, but the MVP award, Clayton Kershaw with the MVP award. It's hard to give it to a guy that plays once every 5th day.
Yeah.
And he deserved it. I'm not saying that, but there are some other people out there. Look at Syndergaard this year. His numbers are outstanding. But I like to see a guy's name in the lineup every day that gets that award.
Well, here's Ryan Howard. Howard hitting .238 on the year with 18 home runs. That one's out to left field, playable for Ethier. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. There was 1 Dodger error. We'll go to the second inning. It's the Dodgers 3 and the Phillies nothing. A 105 start, a Citizens Bank Business Person Special will receive the Pride of the Phillies print featuring the Phillies mural. And then after the game, if you're 14 or under, it's No More Kids Run the Bases. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. A.J. Ellis leads it off against Aaron Harang. He takes strike 1. Ellis just off the disabled list prior to yesterday's ball game. He had been on with a swollen knee. Backup catcher now for the Dodgers. No balls at 2 strikes, hitting just .222. Just a bit outside. It's 1-2. Aaron Harang in the first inning allowed 3 runs on 3 base hits through 27 pitches. He needs a quick one here.
Game's a bit slower up here, isn't it, Ben?
It sure is.
Tom, compared to where we were last night?
Do you think it's all about the territory? It does seem a little slower. Two and 2. A.J. Ellis came off the disabled list with no rehab games. A lot of times they'll send guys out on a rehab assignment, just like Chase Utley, who's been playing for the Reading Titans. But like Aaron Harang, A.J. Ellis, who walks, did not have any rehab appearances coming off the DL. During the 2015 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Here is Brett Anderson showing bunt. Jabbing at it. Doesn't matter. Called a strike. It's 0-1.
You wonder how comfortable Aaron Harang feels right now using his fastball. To throw A.J. Ellis a 3-2 slider in the second inning makes me believe that he doesn't have a whole lot of confidence in his fastball location right now, his command.
Ball is bunted off the plate, barehanded by Ruiz, fires to second, and not in time, but they do get the runner at first. Jeff Kellogg is the second base umpire. He was right on it. So that'll go down as a 2-6-3. Boy, I thought they had him at second base. I thought the slide. The throw definitely beats him, but is his foot on the bag? Looks like it is. 2-6-4, by the way, in the putout. He is, I can't tell. Jeff's blocking it.
Best view right there. Ball's in the glove.
The foot is on the bag.
Toe is still on the bag.
Yeah, so this should go down as a double play, but we'll sit and wait. Jeff Kellogg was on it. He did not signal anything. Usually an umpire, if the foot is off the bag, he'll wave right or left with his two hands.
I think this will go down as a double play, but how quickly did Freddie Galvis get that ball out of his glove, make a very unorthodox throw to first base? From an awkward angle, you see his arm angle really drop down the Laredo style. But just a very good job by Freddie there.
Jeff Kellogg, you can see him mouthing to New York that he has his foot coming off the bag right there. Take a look at it. This is one of the angles. The foot is still on the bag and is still on the bag there, and the ball is in the glove. So unless they think it's inconclusive, this should be a double play, and it shouldn't take that long to come up with a decision. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. And it's also a very good play by Chooch coming up, knowing that it was a bad bunt. Even if he does beat the throw to second base, you still have an opportunity to throw Anderson out at first base.
And you do have a catcher running to second base. No offense, Ben.
None taken. But as a catcher, I will tell you, you have to be fully committed in that throw.
Absolutely.
You can't be on the fence. Oh, should I throw it? Should I not? No. If you have it in your mind that you think you need to get rid of this thing, watch Shoot pop out of here. Boom. I get it, and he does a good job of getting it barehanded. Anderson doesn't even run. Once you bunt, you're not a spectator.
Well, they're obviously having a little bit of trouble figuring out if the foot was on the bag or not, because they have not rendered a decision as of yet.
The only way that it would have been a lot closer, Freddie's foot is on top of the bag.
Correct.
If it was, like you can see right there, you can see right in here, that's where his foot is.
And it looks like it's on the bag.
Still staying on. Now, if his foot was in front of the bag, then there's no question.
All right, so they signal double play, so that's it. 2-6-4 on the double play. So with 2 outs, top of the order coming up, and Jimmy Rollins will be the batter. All right, so now it goes back to what we were talking about Brett Anderson not running,
right? And
that made it an easy, back end portion of that play.
Well, and Ben made a great point with the way Freddie Galvis threw that ball, almost looked like a whip pitch softball guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a softball game today.
Yes, there was.
There it was.
Jimmy Rollins takes a strike. It's 0-1. We did see a throw from second base that wasn't as clean as Freddie Galvis's throw to first. Popped him up. Shallow center field. Odubel Herrera has a long way to go. So does Galvis, but he'll make the call on the catch. On the side, he's retired. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. We've played 1.5 on to the bottom of the second. Darren Ruff will lead things off when we come back. At bat had a little trouble with that ball right there. And then this one out here towards shallow lefts was mishandled by Jeff Skversky, but the sun was in his eyes. They did try to get the force at third, but then get the runner at home, I believe. I'm not really sure what was going on there. If Jeff had the flip-up sunglasses, everything would have been fine. Here's Murph trying to turn a double play.
Oh no.
You got to put Megan in a better position to catch that ball. Now Murph's going back on this pop-up. Way to bail, buddy.
Wait.
Sniper!
All right.
Look at this.
That's catch of the day right there.
That was outstanding.
Did I hear, Murph, you said that you bailed on that play?
I did bail on that play. I got called off.
Brother, you got sniped.
You know, it's so funny as you get older. And your brain says, yeah, you can do that. And then your body says, no, you can't do that.
Isn't that the truth?
Try putting on an extra 40 pounds and see what happens.
Yeah, my legs got a little caught up underneath me there. But I did get called off on that, so I would have caught that.
It was very graceful, Greg.
Thank you.
2 balls, no strikes to Darren Ruff. And Darren hits it out toward the alley in left center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Second single of the night. There's Murph. Sun was in your eyes too, Murph. That was the thing.
I'm getting called off. I said, all right, teammate, cheers.
Did you even know your teammate's name?
No, Tom, why would you ask a silly question?
Well, you said, all right, teammate.
That was a straight stop, drop, and roll.
Come on. You know, I could show you guys the way down to the field next year, if you'd like. Not you, Ben. Or Matt. Just me and Tom.
Freddie hits one to second. That should be 2. And a 4-6-3 double play. Oh, that's great. So 2 away here in the second. And that'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate.
Murph, we're going to consider you an offensive threat. It was a good job of hitting the ball to the left field. I liked it.
Thank you.
I liked it.
Thank you.
We talked about it in the office, so you keep that back foot planted a little longer.
I'd have a little more power.
You'd have more power.
Yeah. All right, next year.
I thought the fly ball to left, I thought it had a chance, Murph. What's the left to bat?
Yeah. I swung the bat okay. I was happy with that. I admit that my feet got a little caught underneath me. Although I think the turn of 2, I thought that was all right. You guys are killing me for that. But
Were you on the second base bag when the throw arrived?
yeah, well, I didn't want to get hurt.
Neighborhood play. Here's Carlos Ruiz with 2 outs. Carlos takes a breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Nice footwork.
Traveling.
Can you do that in this? Hey, Megan made a nice play on your errant throw, by the way.
Megan's a good player.
Carlos pulls it foul. Remains 1-2.
Well, Murph, we thought you did a very good job down there.
I thought you represented well.
You did.
Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Pass the Advil.
Matt, I can't believe you wanted Jeff Alekman, our producer, to run this play again.
Yeah.
I had a bad angle on that.
No, you know what? It was deflected off the shortstop,
right.
so it was fine.
My thought would have been you should have left your feet.
We figured, 1, you either got called off, or 2, we're just going to blame somebody else like most ball players do. It wasn't your fault.
I took a bad angle.
Fastball and a strike 3 call. So second strikeout for Brett Anderson. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. 2 in the books here in South Philadelphia. 3-0 Dodgers on top. fan section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. Guys, the question is, which former Philly coach served as the last Dodger captain in 1979? The last Dodger captain in 1979. 1 ball, no strikes to Kendrick. Ben, were you even born in 1979?
I was 2.
So you should remember this clearly.
Clearly.
Kendrick singled and scored his first time up, scored on the home run by Puig. There's a strike, and it's 2-1.
You were how old? 2?
2.
I was 8 months old.
Howie Kendrick spent 9 years with the LA Angels of Anaheim. Lifetime .295 hitter. And it just so happens that his average after his base hit last time up is creeping closer to his overall average. It's where it was for most of the year. He's dipped a little bit recently. He's at .287.
You want to talk about a hitter that has tremendous pop to right center? Kendrick does. Howie Kendrick. It's a very powerful short swing. I mean, let's face it, the last 9+ seasons, he's not hitting in very good ballparks to have that kind of power to right center. LA and Anaheim.
Off the hands, out towards center field. Odubel Herrera is there. And he makes the catch, one away. Another long at bat. That was an 8-pitch at bat. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants, who are 2 games behind the Dodgers in the division, National League West, they lead the Braves 2-0. Kelby Tomlinson, a 2-run single. Anyone?
I got nothing.
There's Adrian Gonzalez, who singled his first time up, scored on the Puig homer, takes outside, 1-0.
Now, last night we had the authenticator next to us, Angel, and we had a couple broken bats down there. Adrian Gonzalez was one of those bats, and I looked at the bottom of it. It was a 35, as I said in the broadcast last night, 35, 31.5. Now, typically, you'd like to not have any more than a 2-ounce to inch differential. So I always swung a 34, 32, sometimes a 34.5, 32.5. His is a bigger differential, and meaning the wood is not as dense, and therefore you result in a lot more broken bats.
That one's out towards center again. Odubel Herrera makes the catch for the second out, 2 away. Tomorrow morning, Barrett Brooks and Neil Hartman headline our live coverage from Eagles training camp. Wake up with the Eagles and breakfast on Braun tomorrow at 6 a.m. only on the Comcast Network. Two outs. Andre Ethier's coming up. Now, if you swung a bat, let's say an aluminum bat in high school or a Legion or even college, there's a difference of 3. 35-32, 34-31, 33-30, 32-29, that type of thing.
That's the rule, though, right?
Yeah, -3.
When I was in high school, I swung at 33-29.
So are there any rules? Like, do you have to have
baseball?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think it can go past 36 inches.
Line drive base hit to right field for Ethier.
Don't hold me to that, but I'm fairly sure it's 36 is the max.
All right, so
I think the only rule as a hitter is the thickness of the handle. It can't go down to a certain size, like an S2 handle.
Right, it can't be
the thickness.
The thickness of it, right.
Todd Hundley swung, and S2.
Swang. Here is Puig, who hit a 3-run home run his first time up. He is now 6 for 7 against Aaron Harang. Fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. He's tried 3 straight fastballs against him, all of differing locations and velocity.
Well, I think Pui's a very good low ball hitter. I think if you can elevate a fastball, he gets tied up quite a bit. Pui reminds me of Rondell White. He used to play for the Expos. Same size, same type of swing. Strong as an ox.
And the Tigers, I believe.
Yes.
He was signed with the Montreal Expos.
One ball, 2 strikes to Puig. Over to the right side. Charging is Hernandez. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We played 2.5. Phil's trailing it by 3. Looking for some offense when we come back. All we do, call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. Buy Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. And buy McDonald's. Double loving at McDonald's with a double cheeseburger and small fry, just $2.50. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Aaron Harang will lead it off. Swing and a miss, 0-1. It'll be Harang, Cesar Hernandez, Odubel Herrera. 9-1-2. Oh, and 2. Aaron 6 for 30 this year, 10 strikeouts. 11 strikeouts and 1 away. That's 3 strikeouts on the night for Brett Anderson. Cesar Hernandez coming up. Well, this is a special night here in Philadelphia. It always is when it's Pound Night. And with the commissioner, the police commissioner of Philadelphia, here is Greg Murphy. Murph.
Yep, with Commissioner Ramsey, and it's always nice to see you. And we were just talking about a beautiful night for the 37th annual Pound Night at the Phillies. That relationship goes back almost 4 decades at this point.
37 years. That's remarkable. The Phillies have been supporters of Pal. Pal night at the Phillies, something everybody looks forward to, including myself, and it's a perfect night for baseball.
It really is. And, you know, we were talking 17,000 kids in the city of Philadelphia benefit from Pal. Can you kind of put in perspective what that means? Without Pal, you know, maybe some of these kids would be headed in the wrong direction.
Well, without Pal, you'd have almost 17,000 kids with nothing to do. I mean, we have 18 Pal centers around the city. We're always looking to open up another one. But 17,000 kids, that's an awful lot of young people. And now on the weekends, we're open. Saturday, we're open now. And we've got new activities coming on board in many of our centers. So PAL is a vital part of the community.
And all the money raised here tonight goes to fund the program, because what's important is that none of the kids that are involved, all 17,000 of them, they don't pay a penny to be a part of it.
No, they don't pay anything to be a part of it. It's free for them. We have a lot of people that volunteer. We donate a lot of resources in terms of just personnel. I have about 30 cops that are assigned full-time to PAL. So that's our commitment, and it's not going to diminish any over the years.
And we just saw the check presentation down on the field. In addition to the Phillies, some great sponsors as well that are able to help you guys out on a night like tonight.
Well, like Mr. Crancer, Lindfest, I mean, it just goes on. And obviously the Phillies. I mean, without the Phillies, we wouldn't be here tonight.
Well, Commissioner Ramsey, as always, thanks for you and for all what the Philadelphia Police is able to do to help keep us safe here in the city of Philadelphia, and for a great night tonight as well.
Well, thank you. I look forward to the 38th time that we do this together.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll play in the softball game at that point, but you never know. Guys, back to you.
All right, Murph, thank you.
Murph, I'm in 38. Here I come.
Odubel Herrera takes a strike. It's 0-2. He thought that pitch was outside. Odubel grounded out to third his first time up. They tried to go toward the same area, but just a little farther off the plate. Off the hands, over to third. Callaspo has it, flips to second for one, over to first, not in time. Putout goes 5-4 at second base. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD and over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. So now Maikel Franco with a runner at first. Starts him off with a changeup at 86.
His stuff is drastically different from what we saw in LA, Tom.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, his fastball is definitely have some more MPH to it. But he's topped off at 95 tonight. Tonight's Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is James Yoa of Ocean City. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game. Then James will win $100.
Good luck, James.
Pitches hit well out to right field. Puig goes back. It's off the top of the scoreboard. Herrera's on his way home. Franco better hurry to second. He does. It's an RBI double. 20th double of the year for Maikel Franco. Odubel isn't careful. He's going to catch him in doubles for rookies. He's only 2 off the base.
Talk about missing your spot. I tell you, it's supposed to be down and in. Brett Anderson leaves a fastball up and out over the plate. Maikel Franco clips that ball nicely, shoots it out to right field. Brett Anderson, we saw him not run to first base on that bunt attempt. And now we see him not backing up any throws either.
First pitch to Frank Coors outside and low, 1-0.
Happened last night's ball game between the Rays and the White Sox. The throw to home plate went right through the catcher's wickets. Chris Sale was not backing up home plate. Another run scored.
The little things.
Yeah, and it never fails. You could back up home 99 times. Never throw it away. The one time you don't back it up, looks bad.
Outside corner, 2-1. Frank Coors looped a single to left center, stretched his hitting streak to 6 games. Cesar has a 6-game hitting streak. Odubel has a 7-game streak. Maikel Franco has a 7-game streak. Frank Coors at 6 games. Three balls, 1 strike. Good spot for him.
Change up.
Try to sneak a fastball by him. Ball may have gotten a piece of A.J. Ellis or Alan Porter, the home plate umpire. Oh, it was A.J. Ellis. He got it all.
Don't miss him.
That was off his knee.
Frank Coors hits it out towards second, but right at Howie Kendrick. And the Phillies settle for 1. They get 1 on a double by Maikel Franco. It's an unearned run. We'll move to the top of the 4th in a 3-1 game. It's presented by Kohl's. Come dressed as your favorite Star Wars character and be entertained by Star Wars characters, music, movie clips, and more. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for more info or to order your tickets. We got a little preview there, a little Stormtrooper action. And there's our buddy Chris Cashman. He's into the act. Those hats, by the way, are for sale at the Majestic Clubhouse store. The Stormtrooper caps.
There's also a Darth Vader one.
Is it red with the Darth Vader logo?
Didn't see that one, but that's what Scott said.
Oh, Scott Brandreth. First pitch to Jock Peterson is taken for a strike. It's 0-1. Peterson walked his first time up, walked 3 times last night. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, another difference from when we were in Los Angeles is that Jock Peterson was more of a free swinger. And obviously it's different here tonight because last night because he's walking so much.
Yeah.
But 63 walks on the year.
But he also is hitting 222. So was he swinging at too many pitches and going out of the strike zone, or now is he being patient, wait for his pitch, and then once he gets 2 strikes, then is he going to battle? He's got 21 home runs.
2-2 pitch to him. Missed inside and low, 3-2, so another 3-ball count.
Very surprised at how narrow his legs are to start in the stance. Now, I know I was 6'5". I wanted a little bit wider base. I felt stronger that way. I always felt like someone just come up and just tipped me over if my feet were too close together.
Now, Matt, your feet weren't too far apart at certain times, right? Was it always that way? I know later on it didn't seem like it was.
Well, when I was playing every day, back in the Oakland days, I had a closer stance. My stance was pretty much similar to his. I was a little more open, and I had the big leg kick and held it.
Right.
But when I didn't play as much, I went wider stance.
He does generate some bat speed.
I like when you're looking at a hitter and the pitcher goes, well, is he even ready to hit? I mean, am I supposed to go? I mean, he's nice and relaxed. Everything's relaxed.
Walks again. 5 walks in 2 games. 3rd walk issued by Harang. And that'll bring Alberto Callaspo to the plate. Well, if you're looking for a swing line shredder or stapler, then WB Mason is the place to go. They're the preferred partners for HP and for swing line. WB Mason delivers a cut above the rest. Who but WB Mason? Callaspo toward the hole on the right side. That'll get into right field, a base hit. On his way to third is Peterson. The throw by Francoeur is in time. Out at third base.
Yeah.
Now he thinks he was safe. They're going to take a look at it underneath. Boy, when Jeff lets it go, he lets it go. No, he's walking back.
Well, first of all, he wasn't even at second base when Jeff had the ball. Nice play by Franco. Oh, he's yep. Very nice throw. 1, kept it low. 2, short hop. Going down and getting the tag right there. Cardinal mistake, making the first out of third base. But very strong throw from Frenchie. And the key is keeping that runner at first base.
The other part of it, too, when Peterson was about 6 or 7 steps away from third base, he put his helmet back on. He tried to stop his helmet from falling off. That may have even slowed him a little bit.
And Michael deked him as well, but talk about good hands. That play exemplifies how good a hands Maikel Franco has. I mean, that's a tough play. First of all, just to catch it on that, it was kind of it wasn't a pure short hop. It was a little bit longer, but to catch it and then apply the tag that quickly shows his hands.
Well, for Jeff Francoeur, he's 3rd among active outfielders in outfield assists. Now that's his 4th of the season.
Such a lost start.
1 ball, 1 strike to A.J. Ellis. Fouls it back to our right.
Oh,
what a grab. Wow. He should celebrate. Peanuts in one hand. He made a one-handed grab over that partition right there. Here we go. That's right. Center field, that's pretty well hit. Odubel, though, venturing back, is there. And he makes the catch, 2 outs. Yeah, that'll bring Brett Anderson to the plate. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Anderson bunted into a double play his first time up. Got him. Side is retired. Boy, that play at third base was huge by Jeff Francoeur. It certainly helps Aaron Harang through this fourth inning. Jeff Francoeur, one of the best in the business when it comes to this. Perfect technique, sweeps the throw to third. Gobbled up by Maikel Franco. The tag is applied. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Bottom of the fourth inning. It's turned out to be a nice night here in Philadelphia. Warm day around the Delaware Valley. Another good crowd on hand here for game 2 of this series. Phillies won 3 of 4 from the Braves. Took game 1 last night against the Dodgers, and now trail this one 3-1. Aaron Harang is kind of settled down here. He's through 4. And now it'll be Howard, Ruff, and Galvis against Brett Anderson. Ryan is 0 for 1. He flied to left his first time up. One ball and no strikes to Howard. Two and one. New baseball from Alan Porter, the home plate umpire. Alan's a local guy from Montgomery County Community College. Played Ben Davis in high school.
Keystone State games.
Keystone State games. Up the first base line. That's a fair ball. 3 unassisted. It's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PhillyPhoto.strongfan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Show that photo a little later on in the telecast.
It's a good one.
You see it already?
Yep. I know what it is.
0-1.
So I got some clarification from Darren Ruff today on the knob of his bat from Axe Bat Company. So what is it? He goes, Honestly, it just feels good. It is supposed to not create hamate bone injuries and the like, but I did pick it up, and it felt pretty darn good.
Chops it out towards shortstop. Rollins waits on it. 2 outs. Now, Jimmy Rollins was the first to use that style bat and got a base hit. Or was the first one to get a base hit with that style bat.
Dustin Pedroia has used it in Boston. He said there's lots of different bats with different knobs on it, but this one feels the best.
Freddie Galvis now the hitter. He takes a curve ball, and it's 0-1.
He was watching his at bats last night in the production
Why are
cavity.
they talking about my baseball bats?
Zooming in, he goes, "What do they keep looking at?"
That's a broken baseball bat. And the Phillies go down in order here in their half of the 4th inning. 4 in the books. Brett Anderson's done a nice job here tonight. Phillies have left 3. We'll leave for the top of the 5th. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off. Answer. All right, guys. Well, here's the question one more time. Which former Philly coach served as the last Dodger captain in 1979?
Let's say number 15, Davey Lopes.
Davey Lopes is correct. Log back on to Phillies.com and find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Talked to Davey today.
Well, that was a layup after last night's question.
That seemed to get last night's question pretty easily. Our buddies who were behind us sitting in the seats, they were there to help out, but you guys didn't need any help.
Yeah, but the guys behind us,
yeah,
God love them, they were trying. They were going back farther than Ben's guesses.
2 balls and 1 strike to J. Roll. Rollins is flied out to right field. He's popped out to shortstop, so he's 0 for 2. 2 hits in last night's game. Boy, that's an awfully close pitch right there. That's been a strike on a couple occasions. It's ball 4, and Rollins draws a walk. 7 3-ball counts. Alan Porter hearing it a little bit from the dugout.
It is a good pitch.
It's off the plate. where Ruiz caught it. So at Major League Scoreboard, the Mets continue their red-hot play. They lead the Marlins 4-0 in the top of the 4th inning. Lucas Duda, a 2-run double. Matt Harvey on the mound. That game may be over. Through the hole on the right side, a little hit and run. It doesn't hit Rollins' feet. So Kendrick and Rollins combine on the hit and run. That puts runners on first and third with nobody out here in the 5th.
I'm going to look up hit and run in the dictionary. That was the epitome of it right there. Not only do you hit the hole, but you get first and third. That was textbook.
Well, now the Phillies will set up to try to turn 2. They'll concede the run to try to get the out. And 1 to Gonzalez, who is 1 for 2 tonight. Ryan Howard diving stop. He'll go to the first base bag. A run is in, and it's now 4-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Well, they give an RBI to Adrian Gonzalez, but if that got past Howard, it would have been first and third again with a run in.
Yeah, he does a nice job coming off first. You know, the advantage of being a left-handed thrower and a right-handed catcher. Make a play like that very easily. I shouldn't say very easily. Make it look very easy.
He may have had a play at second base, but at that point, I guess he was just thinking, let me get the out.
Cat-like. I thought that ball was going to get by him for sure. Very good play by Ryan.
Here's Andre Ethier. Swing and a miss. Tied him up, and it's 0-1. By the way, we showed that Mets-Marlins score. It's significant because the Mets are leading the division by a game over the Nationals, and they've won 5 straight. And the Nats are playing the Diamondbacks as we speak and leading that one. But if the Phillies win tonight and the Marlins lose, the Phillies are even with the Marlins and could be closer to getting out of the basement in the National League East. The amount of games the Phillies have made up since the All-Star break is just outstanding. And Pete Buchanan has this team under his watch playing .500 baseball. That's after a slow start. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you figure over the last 10 games, you've gained 5 games on Atlanta Braves.
Right.
You've gained 6 on the Marlins. You know, us going 8-2. The Marlins went 2-8, and Atlanta went 3-7.
That's a lot of hard work in a short period of time. Two balls and 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat, that'll go into center field for a base hit. Kendrick will stop at third, and it'll be first and third with 1 man down. Second hit of the night for Andre Ethier, and here comes Puig. Puig is very difficult to double up if you're thinking about that here. He's got to hit it right on the nose.
Aaron just doesn't seem to have that finish on his pitches tonight. Everything seems to be, for lack of a better term, kind of floating up there. Breaking ball's not real sharp. Cutter's kind of not sharp. Fastball, we've seen him struggle with his fastball command. In, out, up, down.
Yeah, you wonder if that plantar fasciitis, which is what put him on the shelf, if that's at all bothering him tonight. Inside, 1-0.
Doctor tell me, I've never had it, knock on wood, but plantar fasciitis, it's caused a lot of times by folks keeping their bed sheets tucked in underneath the bed. You get your foot in that position, you end up getting it. Isn't that something?
Huh.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, you do.
I don't have to worry about it then.
You don't tuck your sheets in?
Not a bit.
Huh.
First thing I do, kick them out.
A little bit of useless information for you.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. After hearing that, did you pull the sheets out from your bed?
I like them tucked in. I've never had it, so I gotta go diagonally because I really don't fit in beds.
Gotta get yourself a bigger bed.
I can't.
Need a bigger boat? You gotta get a bigger bed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And inside, 2-2. Well, you can want, can't you?
How many years you playing the show? 6, 7?
Yeah.
You can get rid of the twin bed, I mean, seriously. They do make a California king nowadays.
Popped him up. Cesar Hernandez near the second base bag. And there are 2 outs. And Jacques Peterson is coming up. Trying to get out of this 5th inning by allowing just the 1 run.
I love that. He missed on that fastball prior to that pitch and doubled up inside. Smart.
That one is spun back toward the Hall of Fame club, or to the Diamond Club. And it's 0-1. Not as much trouble tonight for the Dodgers against Aaron Harang as they did against Jerome Williams through the first 5 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jock Peterson.
I wonder if it's more of a release point. It just seems.
Well, what would you tell him if you were catching? Is there something that would stand out? I mean, the motion looks the same. I don't know if there's something that's off a tick or two.
Which would make me believe that, I mean, his windup always looks the same, but that would make me think that it's his release point.
Yeah, because these splits are not like Aaron Harang. I mean, he's 58 strikes, 38 balls. But a lot of 3-ball counts. And there's ball 4. Remarkably, this is the 6th time that Peterson has walked in these 2 games. So bases loaded, 2 outs. Here comes Bob McClure. Hector Neris has been warming up. I thought maybe it would be Pete Mackanin that would come out and they'd go to the bullpen to get a fresh arm. Season high in walks allowed by Harang. Guy like Harang, he's won 127 games. You would think that he's able to figure out what his issue is for tonight.
You know, if they were to go get him here, it'd be a double switch variety with Harang due to hit second in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, as Bob McClure goes back toward the dugout, we'll remind you that Phillies fantasy camp will be January 20th to the 24th, 2016. Join a Legends lineup that now includes Mike Schmidt for coaching, camaraderie, and baseball like you've never played it before. Take part in a 1-hour hitting clinic with Michael as well. Create memories that last a lifetime. Book now at PhilliesFantasyCamp.com. So Callaspo's the batter. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. The first pitch is in there. It's 0-1. Starts him off with a slider.
Now, Ben, you were talking earlier about his release point. Is he being too quick to home, do you think? Or not quick enough with that hand? Is he getting lazy bringing the hand out of his glove?
I think he's a little too quick with his lower half because he's missing a lot of pitches arm side. So be up and away to lefties or in on righties. That means when I look at it, his lower half is moving forward too quickly and not giving his arm a chance to catch up.
The 101st pitch of the night is fouled away over the tarp down the left field line.
You know, and it's funny that you say that because as a hitter, you can see, that's just a protection swing, but you can see pitchers when they open up one too early, or if they're having a hard time catching their upper body with their lower half and they're getting underneath it. You see the ball unbelievably how clear it is when you see it.
Well, he just missed low, and now it's 2-2.
It's when you get on top of that baseball and you get the hand out early and get on top of it where it's hard to pick up the release point.
Yep.
But now it's almost like it's a shot put coming in.
When pitchers do open up, you see a lot of these hitters like that pitch right there, that changeup. These hitters aren't budging at these pitches that are relatively close.
Yeah, Callaspo fouls that one off. And just tried to get a piece of it because it was close to being a strike. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runners lead off all the way around. Now time is called. And Odubel's out in center field, and he should take care of this. He does. 7 men come to the plate, but only 1 run scores. They leave them loaded. Time to go to the concession stand. All night games. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. A 4-game series against the New York Mets. The first place Mets, who lead the Marlins 4-0 in the 5th inning, while the Nationals lead the Diamondbacks 2-1 at the top of the 4th. Well, that'll be it for Aaron Harang, talking to Matt Harrison, the newest Phil, who's on the disabled list. We say that because Jordan Danks is in the on-deck circle. So he will be the pinch hitter after Carlos Ruiz against Brett Anderson, who was sat for a while. Delivers outside, 1-0. You know, honestly, the Phillies have to count their blessings that they only allowed 1 run in that 5th inning, the way it was going. Out to right center field. Jock Peterson on the run, says he has it. And he makes the catch for the first out.
And not very often do you send 7 hitters up, score 1 run.
Yeah.
I think Jock's pretty happy that Yasiel veered off there.
He called it real early, and I think he has to, because you could probably hear Puig coming.
Hear that freight train whistle.
Danks takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Oh, and 2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tough to send a lefty up against the left-hander. But you've got Ashe, Brown, Danks. You could have sent Andres Blanco up, but here's the 2-2 pitch. And it's outside 3-2, but he's your only reserve infielder. There's Cesar on deck. 3-2 to Danks. Swing and a miss, and there are 2 outs.
Now, Blanco is a switch hitter, which enables you to match up. If they do go out and make a switch, righty lefty, he's good from both sides of the plate, so you're really not losing someone there if they do make that switch.
Well, 2 outs here, Cesar Hernandez. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Today's photo comes from Jesse Dreamer 17, and Matt said it's a good one. It's what it looks like to be photobombed by Matt and I during photo day, and it was a lot of fun. So you can tweet your strongest fan photo to #PhillyPhoto, Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. And it's all brought to you by the good folks at T-Mobile. Do you remember that, Matt?
Well, first of all,
yeah,
I didn't photobomb anybody. I was standing in there for a photo.
Oh, so it was me that was photobombed.
There you go, Murph.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably accurate. I was just reading the copy.
Off the glove of Adrian Gonzalez into shallow right field. And Hernandez is aboard. We'll see how they score that. So 2 out base runner for the Phils. And here's Odubel Herrera. They have scored that an error, the 4th error of the year for Adrian Gonzalez. I think we may have seen 2 or 3 errors from Adrian Gonzalez this year.
You don't see them very often.
No, I think we said that the last time, and then all of a sudden we saw a couple.
You know, he was talking about how good a hitter he is, but defensively, almost as good as his manager, Don Mattingly.
Runner goes, pitch is taken high, throw to second base is not in time. Stolen base number 16 for Cesar. A.J. Ellis out in front of home plate. Looked like Cesar got his hand in there.
Well, he picks the perfect pitch. It's a big curveball. Had a pretty good jump. AJ came up through a pretty good strike, but speed kills. Put in their hand, left hand real quick.
Rollins keeps the glove on the hand just in case it slides off. 2-0. Odubel signals to Alan Porter just in case.
I tell you, looking at that, that was a great of Cesar going into second base. What did we ever do without high def? I mean, you see the dirt flying. I was just
high def and slow mo.
Yeah.
3-0.
Watch this. You see the little dirt specks flying everywhere. His hand hitting the base. Jimmy applying the tag. You even have a sunflower seed right there. You can see a sunflower seed.
Wonder if Murph left it out there when he was playing second base during the softball game. Ball 4. Odubel's aboard.
It's the one he tripped on.
It's just about where he went down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We won't bring that up again, though. We shouldn't bring that up.
We should, but we probably will.
We're still saying tripped. We're going with tripped.
Fail, like you peeled off. And
I think you listened to every good firefighter out there, Murph. You stopped, dropped, and rolled.
That's right.
Well, I mean, since we do have time, we might as well see it again here. I like the fact that you gave away to the guy that was behind you.
Okay.
I just didn't like I mean, that looked like it hurt.
Did look like it hurt.
Yeah, it didn't end up exactly the way I planned. I'll admit that.
Smooth as stucco.
Yeah. I love you guys.
Well, here's Franco. The Phil's down by 3 here in the bottom of the 5th. I think you thought that changeup was a little too high.
Yeah, I'm thinking that changeup was a good one to hit.
Over the Sunoco sign.
And he hits it out towards shallow right center field. Kendrick backpedaling makes the catch. The side is retired. The Phillies do threaten but do not score. They leave a couple. We'll go to the 6th inning with the Dodgers leading it by 3. One home runs, 827 runs batted in, and 8 consecutive 20-plus home run seasons. No hit was valued more than a 7th-inning double in Game 5 of the 2008 World Series. It led to a parade down Broad Street, and now to a permanent place at Citizens Bank Park. He's the newest member of the Phillies Wall of Fame, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, back here at Citizens Bank Park as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Phillies trail at 4-1. Bull's Barbecue. Everything's always hot and it's always delicious. Out in right field. Also, get a chance to meet Bull.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, hint, hint. Some turkey sandwiches up here, some beef. Here's A.J. Ellis to lead off the 6th inning. And the first pitch is a changeup that drops in, and it's 0-1. No, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hector Neris, 10th ball game, 1-0 with a 3.09 earned run average. Aaron Harang, by the way, went 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, a season high 5 walks. And he trails it by 3 as he heads to the clubhouse. Ellis was one of the walks that was issued earlier by Aaron.
Ben, I'm going to ask you another question.
Pisces.
Okay, Fish. Would you ever turn around and tell an umpire when a new pitcher's coming in, hey, this guy has real late movement, stay with it a little longer?
All the time, yes.
Are they appreciative of that, or how do they feel about it?
Definitely if it's a guy they haven't seen before. If it's a veteran guy, I would not.
That one's off the foot of A.J. Ellis.
But if it's a guy that had maybe just got called up and the umpire's not familiar with him, then yes, I would turn around and say, hey, you know, two-seamer runs a lot. It's late. You know, don't give up on it. Likes to backdoor right-handers. You know, don't give up on that pitch. You may think it's away, but it's really not. So, where if a guy has a late-breaking slider, something along those lines.
Yeah,
yes.
I would think with Hector it would be his split, his changeup.
Right, and that was the 1-2 pitch. That's the reason why I asked.
Foul ball up the third base line because it does have very late movement on it, and I think we all thought it was pretty close to being a strike.
Yes.
Oh, there's lots of ways that you can approach umpires as well. As a hitter, you'll walk up and say, how far are you giving tonight? A lot of umpires might say, I'm going to give a baseball length off.
Would you ask that early, or is that
first time up?
Oh, really?
Especially if you know the umpire and you can have fun with them.
Yeah.
You know, hey, how far are you going? Up and down? Are you up and down or out or in and out? And he'll tell you if he's going to be in and out or up and down.
Yeah, because I wonder if it's different for each umpire each game. You know, I know they all have personalities. As Franco comes charging in, bare hands throws, and it's in time. What a play! He had time because it was A.J. Ellis, but he didn't have all that much time. He made a great throw. 1 out here in the 6th inning.
Man alive. He gets to it and bare hands it, but his ball just stays so true. It doesn't tail back into the runner. So there's big old mitts down there. You'll see how that ball stays true. A lot of the time that third base will come in, that ball will tail back towards the runner, towards the Phillies dugout. That one stays true right to Ryan Howard.
That's an amazing shot right there. And the fact that he's done it a million times, so he knows the trajectory of the ball. He's got to put it, it's kind of like a screwball the way it's going.
That's probably the farthest one he had to go to.
Absolutely.
This year.
Absolutely.
And once again, who's running?
Catcher.
Sorry, Ben.
It's okay. He made it close.
It's so difficult because his body has all his momentum going towards home plate, and you want to throw, directly across your body towards first base.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Anderson. Swing and a miss, 2 outs. Well, we mentioned that's a play that a third baseman has to practice, just like a shortstop has to practice and get down that charging play at shortstop.
Well, Murph did a nice job getting there. He did a good job of getting the ball first and then clearing himself out of the way so he didn't get on a takeout slide. This play right here, similar but way different.
Yeah, Megan would not have had to come off the bag to field that one.
No. Close, but not really the same play.
Here is Jimmy Rollins, who's 0 for 2. Takes low, 1-0.
You know, I told Murph next year I was going to play in that game.
Yeah.
No chance. There'd be no chance. I'll donate some money before I play.
You just played in a home run derby, softball home run derby.
Yeah, but didn't have film on me.
How do you know?
Well, I guess it's not film anymore. It's video, isn't it?
Well, if you want to live in that time, you can say film. 3-0. Howie Kendrick is on deck. Inside, ball 4. Walked him on 4 pitches.
6th walk of the night. Aaron rang with 5. You look at that line score: 5 walks, 7 hits, only 4 runs. It's hard to do.
This is one thing the Phillies haven't done since the break. You know, we talked a lot in the first half about free passes and how detrimental they were to the Phils. Tonight, only one of the 6 walks is scored. Tomorrow night, Eagle Brandon Graham predicts the future in Philly fortunes. And it's all part of the 700 level show tomorrow night at 10:30 on the Comcast Network. Throw over to first base, and Rollins is back. One ball, no strikes to Kendrick. Kendrick has a hit in the first inning, a hit in the 5th inning. Keeping an eye on Rollins, who has 461 career stolen bases. Runner goes, then stops, and the pitch is a strike. It's 1-1. Boy, Rollins went a pretty good ways before he stopped.
Oh, I hated that as a hitter. You know, you want to give him an opportunity to steal second base. It's a fastball right down the chute, and you take it because you think he's stealing, and he stops. That's why with 2 strikes, you still have to be aggressive, hitting wise.
Over to third base again. That one's going to roll foul. And Kendrick will have to come back. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. This game does not have the same pace as last night's game. There was a crispness to last night's game. There was an energy to last night's game. Not tonight. Back toward the middle, over the mound, over the bag, into center field. On his way to third, and then stopping is Rollins. Howie Kendrick has 3 hits tonight. Now there's runners on first and second with 2 men down. And they kind of playing with fire because you got Adrian Gonzalez coming up.
All started with a 2-out walk.
Yeah, the run they scored in the 5th inning started with a leadoff walk. Well, an update from Arm & Hammer Park in Trenton, New Jersey. Nick Williams 3 for 3, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 runs scored. He had 2 hits last night in his debut. He drove like 21 hours to be part of that game yesterday. Also, Chase Utley 2 for 3 with a couple singles, a walk, and a run scored. All good things for the Phils. Chase is going to be reevaluated after tonight's ball game with the Reading Fightins. Time is called.
This is where, as a pitcher, you cannot let the runners distract you. You have a dangerous enough weapon in Adrian Gonzalez at home plate. You have to make your pitch. If they do steal second and third, so what?
Boy, Neris got the first 2 batters easily, and now he's kind of nibbling a little bit with these last 3. He seemed like he was definitely nibbling with Jimmy Rollins. One ball, no strikes.
And this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't care about Jimmy Rollins right now.
It's amazing how the game just comes to a crawl with runners in scoring position or runners on. Good pitch. Nothing should change. Ben made a great point. Don't worry about the base runners. You make your pitch to the hitter, your job is done. Jimmy Rollins is going to score from second base on a base hit.
Right.
If he gets to the outfield.
Down and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So he tried the changeup on 3 straight pitches. And now Ruiz out to talk to Hector Neris with Ethier on deck.
Darren Ruff is about a couple steps away from playing straightaway left center.
Yeah, he is shifted over.
You know, and usually, I mean, he's usually probably 25 feet to his right for straight up.
Yeah, probably in front of the Budweiser sign or to the edge of the Budweiser sign.
Exactly.
2-2 pitch. Outside, 3-2. So the runners will be off. There they go. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. Bases are now loaded. So after getting the first 2 batters, a walk, a single, and another walk. And that loads it up for Andre Ethier. And Bob McClure is heading out to the mound again. He hasn't had to deal with this kind of inability to throw strikes in a while for the pitching staff.
Well, no, when we talked about how good the hitting's been and how good the pitching's been since the All-Star break, they went 13-3. They only had 36 walks since the break, compared to 110 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's averaging about less than 2 walks per game, or just above 2 walks per game. All right, so the mound meeting is broken up. And here comes Andre Ethier. Ethier has played himself into a larger role because of the injury to Carl Crawford early on. Ethier was the odd man out at the start of the season. He was the 4th outfielder. But then with Crawford going down, Ethier, well, he was hitting the ball pretty well. And now 12 home runs and 38 runs batted in. His average is climbing. It's a .283. He grounded out his first at bat and singled in his last 2 at bats. And Neris misses outside. It's 1-0. Two balls, no strikes. And he fouls it off the mask of Ruiz. So much thinking that goes on behind the plate, I would think, as a catcher. But when a pitcher or pitchers are struggling the way the pitchers have been struggling tonight, you see that foul ball. There's probably a little more thinking even that goes on. How do I get this guy back to the strike zone?
Well, he seems like he has more command with his off-speed pitches than his fastball. Again, you talk about missing arm side with your fastball. He's done that over time and time again this inning.
That's his best pitch. He's commanded it at times in this inning. Other times he has struggled with the command of it. 2-2.
Well, it's his best pitch, but he has to learn how to throw fastball, which he did to the first 2 hitters. Pound the strike zone. That changeup looks, it's even harder to hit because now you have to be defensive with the fastball.
Got him. 94 with that fastball, and he gets out of it. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. They leave him loaded. And that may quiet the Dodger fans, at least for the moment. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Phillies trailing it by 3. Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. ShopNissan.com. Bottom of the 6th inning. There's a lot going on around the ballpark here tonight. And Matt, you ask and you shall receive.
Well, that was very quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I like how you guys push them over here like they're all minors.
Well, you got up to get a drink, so the space was open for us.
Useful.
Yeah. All right, we're going to time you, Matt. Let's see how long you can knock out these ribs.
Yeah, okay.
Ribs do look delicious.
Frank Court chops it to third. Easy play for Callaspo. And there's one quick out here in the 6th inning. Oh, Brett Anderson's kind of meandered along here. He's allowed 4 hits. He's done a nice job for the Dodgers. Last time out, he went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits and 2 earned runs. Lost the game 2-0 to the A's. Well, tonight his team has given him a 3-run lead. He has given them 9 ground ball outs on the mound. Here's Howard.
9 ground ball outs. His slider's been working well. His 95-mile-an-hour fastball has been knee high. He's pounding the strike zone.
A little low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes now to Howard. Howard tonight has flied to left field. He's grounded out to first. 8 for 20 on this homestand. It's been a good homestand for him. Looks like a high changeup, breaking ball. 2-1.
It's bread and butter pitch, slider. Speaking of bread and butter, we got any butter here?
That's a good question. Well, ask, Matt, and somebody will bring you butter.
It's one of my favorite foods.
2-2 pitch. Foul back. Colin, you have any butter? Matt needs butter. Do you have any butter? You do not? Murph's son Colin's here in the booth. He doesn't travel with butter. Ground ball foul past Juan Samuel. Howard tried to check, but Porter says he went around. So 5 strikeouts for Brett Anderson. And there are 2 outs. And here comes Darren Ruff.
It's hard to keep yourself back because you have to respect his fastball. We mentioned that he is throwing a bit harder tonight than the last time they saw him at Chavez Ravine. So you're in the back of your mind, you think, well, I got to get started a little bit sooner here. And then he drops that one on you. And you have a check swing.
Yeah, he's tough on everybody tonight, but he's particularly tough on left-handers tonight. 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. Phillies have 10 or more hits in their last 6 games here at Citizens Bank Park. Well, that's kind of in jeopardy tonight the way Anderson's throwing. He's only allowed 4 hits and the 3-1. That ball 4. Well, Matt, we have found butter for you.
I mean, 1 would have been enough.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know how much you wanted, and Colin wants to make sure that you are taken care of as far as the butter goes. Colin, thank you for the butter.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Did you see your father fall out there earlier today?
There's a strike to Galvis. It's 0-1.
I like the base hit he got, though. That was a good piece of hitting right there by your dad.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
With all the opportunities the Dodgers have had, it just seems like this game is out of reach.
Absolutely. It's not.
Freddie pops one here. They're only down by a run.
Freddie, the first Philly to reach 100 hits this year. He's hit in 3 straight games. He bunts back toward the mound. That's going to wind up being an easy play for Anderson. Side is retired. Put out goes 1-3. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. 6 in the books. Still just a 3-run deficit facing the Phillies. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Yasiel Puig's home run is really the only big blow in tonight's ball game, plus the walks issued by the Phil's pitchers. But beyond that, we go to the top of the 7th inning. It's only a 4-1 ball game. Aaron Harang lasted 5. Brett Anderson's through 6, although there's bullpen action for the Dodgers. Pedro Baez is warming up. So now as we go to the top of the 7th inning, it'll be Yasiel Puig, Jacques Peterson, and Alberto Callaspo to face Hector Neris. Puig, the 3-run home run his first time up, and he fouls that first pitch back. It's 0-1. Yasiel in his rookie year had 19 home runs. Last year he hit 16. His rookie year, his OPS was 975. Talked about how high Maikel Franco's is, and that Franco's is the highest among rookies. Well, Puig's is over 120 points higher than Franco's when he was a rookie. Inside, 1-1.
He really took Major League Baseball by storm. Dodgers started selling out every ball game. Everyone came to see him play.
And he made some unbelievable plays defensively, too. Pulls that foul. 22.
And I honestly believe that the league has started to figure him out some more. You know, his strengths, his weaknesses. Very talented in the outfield.
Yeah, they have somewhat of a dilemma, too, because they have Carl Crawford on their bench, and they'd like to get him some more playing time. But Ethier's been swinging the bat well. Peterson, they want him to play every day, offensively, defensively. And they've got Puig, who they're hoping can put up better numbers than he's put up so far. Just a bit inside, 2-2. toward the hole, and that's past Franco, a base hit. Second hit of the night for Puig. He takes a big turn around first. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank. All right, so Puig's at first, and Jock Peterson, all he does is walk. He's walked 6 times in this series. Give him credit for being patient. He swings at the first pitch, hits it out towards center field. Herrera is under it, and he makes the catch, 1 away. Back to first base goes Puig. It's interesting how Herrera got a great jump on that ball right there, and the MLB Network had a great statistic today, which was kind of surprising when you look at it, that Odubel Herrera, among center fielders in Major League Baseball, he has to go the farthest on average to catch a fly ball. 58 feet on average is his distance to go get a fly ball. So that tells you a couple things, that he's got great range and that he's getting to a lot of baseballs that maybe some other center fielders don't get to. So he's the leader of the pack. You know, a guy like Billy Hamilton is number 4 in Major League Baseball. But on average, 58 feet he has to go to get a fly ball.
Oh.
Caspo's 1 for 3. There's a line drive into center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Puig stops at second. After the bobble, he'll still stop.
Well, it does show that he can cover some ground out there.
Now, some of it could be positioning. He may not be positioned all the time the right way.
Right.
But we've seen it with our own eyes that he does cover a lot of ground.
And his jumps are getting better. You look at that jump he just got, and that's the toughest one, the one that's directly hit at you. For an outfielder, most outfielders will tell you the line drive hit right at you is the toughest one to gauge.
Araujo is the left-hander. Hinojosa is the right-hander.
That swing by Kayaspa may have been the easiest swing I've seen all year. It was a self-serve. I'll just take my single to the left.
Well, I will say this about the Herrera, that he is getting better with the jumps. He does have very good speed. He plays the deepest of any center fielder as well. So a lot of balls he's catching, he's coming in on. Where majority of center fielders
going back on him
or right
there.
at them.
Yeah, I think it all plays into it. But I think the grand scheme of things, it's his first year doing it.
Right.
So the way he's adapted to it so quickly
tells you how good an athlete he is.
That's it. I was talking to Pete McCannon about it today, and Pete said that he's far exceeded their expectations as far as his defense goes. Also asked him how much he'd play, how much winter ball Herrera is going to play, because he's played so much the last few years. He said probably not as much as he has in past years. Said though it's hard though when guys go home to their hometowns.
He's got to defend his batting title down there, doesn't he?
Well, that's part of it too.
I see no problems and no concern about him going down playing winter ball.
0-2 pitch. Fouled away.
I played 7 straight years of winter ball. I think it helps. Helps you going in. You face him. You're seeing more pitches. You're going to see. I played in the Mexican League, so you saw a lot of curveballs and a lot of off-speed pitches, which helped me learn how to hit off-speed a little bit better.
Got him. 2 outs. And it will be Crawford, so we'll see what they do with Neris. An update from Trenton, New Jersey, where the Nick Williams show continues. 4 for 4 now. He's added a double to his 2 home runs. 5 runs scored, 3 RBIs.
I watched some video on him the other day.
You talk like about his swing?
I do, and his barrel stays to the zone for quite a while. And I can understand where they're saying that He doesn't have the greatest bat speed until the point of contact. Then that barrel zings right through the zone.
Crawford had a double in last night's ball game. 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter. Takes a strike. You guys a little surprised they're taking Brett Anderson out of this ball game?
Yes.
I know they probably would like another run here. That's part of it, but
I think a lot had to do with the last half inning where he had to sit for so long. I mean, that half inning lasted a long time.
He's at 92 pitches. Two and one. Rollins on deck. And ball 4. So the bases are loaded for the 3rd consecutive inning for the Dodgers. Neris, who's at 50 pitches, will wait for Rollins to come to the plate. Rollins, .248 career hitter with the bases loaded. And that one gets away from Ruiz. Here comes Puig like a freight train. He stops. He turns back. Ruiz chases him back and applies the tag. Reckless abandon. Sometimes Puig makes the right play. Sometimes he makes the wrong play. That right there was the wrong one. And the Phils get a break. He thought it was farther away from Ruiz. He reacted well. And the Phillies get out of a bases loaded jam. 3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. WB Mason offers the brands you love, like Swing Line's huge selection of laminators and shredders. Whether you're preserving your best work for safely destroying your most confidential documents, Swing Line and WB Mason deliver a cut above the rest. Who but WB Mason? Well, here is Pedro Baez, his 30th ball game. Now, Matt.
Yes.
Yasiel Puig has a lot of talent. You live with his aggressiveness. Sometimes you die with his aggressiveness. I don't think Don Mattingly was too happy about the aggressiveness on that last play.
I don't think so either. Especially when the play's right in front of you.
0-1 to Carlos Ruiz. 0-2. That was supposed to be a fastball up. It wasn't. Right there. Whoa. You know, he didn't even have a good secondary lead on that either.
He did not. You should have a walking lead.
He didn't even have a lead or a walking lead.
2-2.
A walking lead to where your momentum is onto your right foot, your right leg. And if something does happen, you can get going. He was standing flat-footed with no secondary.
Carlos struck out. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah, there's one away. And here comes Cody Ashe as the pinch hitter for Hector Neris in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ashe on the year is 1 for 8 as a pinch hitter. .245, 5 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Oh, and 1. Ball, 1 strike. That'd be a good vantage point too, to sit and watch a game, huh? 3 rows up from behind home plate.
Anywhere in the stadium, really. I mean, there's some great views. One of the better views, the 400 level, right behind home plate.
It is a good spot. High fastball, 2-2. But Alex trying to figure out any way to try to get this offense going. She fouls it back. 98. He takes forever to get it to the plate, but when it gets going, 98 miles an hour.
It looks like it's got a little cut on it too.
Yeah, the pitch to Ruiz looked like it had cut on it.
That strikeout on Carlos was.
Change up, and Ashe is struck out. Back-to-back Ks. Well, Tuesday, August 18th, when the Phillies take on the Toronto Blue Jays. It's the Toyota Larry Bowa Bobble figurine, free to all fans. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. That is the stance that Larry Bowa utilized from the left side of the plate. I wonder how they chose the left side. Switch hitting Larry Boa.
Murray Beach from that side.
Is he a better left-handed hitter or right-handed hitter?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Tell you what, Cody Ashley right there, you got to go back and say, hey, Skipper, thanks for that, AB. I appreciate it. Hey, you tip your cap to him. 98, and then he throws an 86-mile-an-hour changeup.
Oh, there it is right there. 87 to Hernandez. Broke his bat. Ground ball softly to the right side. Kendrick this time throws Hernandez out. Now the side is retired. Phillies offense has gone quiet here tonight. Without a base hit since the third inning. They'll go down 1-2-3. At ChevyDealer.com. Top of the 8th inning. It's 4-1. Dodgers on top of the Phillies. Time now for our Hyundai defensive plays of the game.
First one to look at here, Jeff Francoeur from right field throwing out Jock Peterson. Maikel Franco, great job applying that short hop, applying the tag, and getting the out. And this one was just spectacular. Maikel Franco and A.J. Ellis coming in and charging on that ball, making the good strong throw to first base. Recorded out, and there are your Hyundai defensive plays of the game.
Yeah, Franco has made that a patented play.
Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Here's Elvis Araujo. Elvis in his 31st game. He's walked a couple times. He's flied to right. He's also popped out to short. First pitch is up high and away, 1-0.
So I asked for some Bulls barbecue earlier.
Yeah, and some butter.
Yeah. How about a Hyundai? That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
I don't know how we'd be able to get it in the booth.
Oh, we'd figure it out.
We probably need a bigger booth. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Those ribs were outstanding, by the way.
I think several of the other sandwiches went pretty quickly in the back, too.
Oh, they're gone?
Well, not all of them. Rollins takes outside, 2-1. Tonight, the Phillies have walked 8. 5 by Aaron Harang, 3 by Hector Neris. Three balls, 1 strike to Rollins. Spinning out toward the middle to his left, Galvis. He's up with it. One away. That'll bring Howie Kendrick to the plate. Let's check in with Greg Murphy with the Major League Notebook.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by St. Joseph's University. And news from the Washington Nationals. 2 of their injured players getting a little bit closer to coming back. Steven Strasburg and Denard Span both worked out this afternoon for the team. Strasburg threw some pitches. Span was taking some swings in a batting cage. They're going to wait until tomorrow to see how Strasburg is and decide where he'll head next, whether or not he's going to go down and do a rehab assignment. Span, they expect to start taking live batting practice as early as Friday and be back in the lineup sometime early next week. And the Cubs, well, they lost Rafael Soriano to the 15-day disabled list. He has inflammation in his shoulder. What they have said, what Joe Madden has said, is that they're hoping they'll shut him down for now and get him back sometime in September strong for what they're hoping to be, a run to the playoffs and deep into the playoffs. So they're going to shut him down for now in hopes that he'll get strong and be back. Of course, he signed with the Cubs as a free agent in June, and he's been pretty good for them so far. So they'll look for him to come back during the pennant chase, guys.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance. Somebody made a nice play down below. I thought there was a chance the Cubs would go out and try to find bullpen help.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they were going to go out and try to get some more depth. Another right-hander.
Yeah.
To help that back end of the bullpen.
That one's out towards center field. Odubel Herrera makes the catch. And 2 outs.
I did figure, though, if they were going to go out and look for a hitter, that they would have scouted Murph today in the softball game, because his first base hit today was impressive.
I don't know if he could have survived Chicago.
Do they have a bumpy area around second base, too? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Matt, though.
You're welcome.
Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Does seem to be Matt that keeps bringing it up, though, Murph, by the way, just so you know.
I slipped him a 10 to bring up the hit.
We figure we're going to come back and win this game, and we're going to come down and interview you on the field.
Adrian Gonzalez has scored a run tonight. He'll take a strike, and it's 0-1. Top of the 8th inning, 4-1. Dodgers on top. 4 runs on 10 hits for the Dodgers. They've left 11. 0-2.
You know, it's been quite a story for Araujo this year. Going to spring training, major league contract, goes to the minor leagues, comes back up, only lefty in the bullpen. He's doing a very nice job.
Yeah, learning as a big leaguer on the fly. As that one is outside and low, maybe. 2-2.
One thing about having one lefty in the bullpen is that if you struggle one day, you're going to be back out there again. Probably the next day or the day after.
Yeah, but I like Elvis's stuff in the fact that he can get righties and lefties out.
I do too.
I mean, it can't be a very comfortable bat against Elvis with his size, how hard he throws. But he can get righties out as well. Better get that slider down, though, I tell you that. 2 very hittable pitches there for Adrian Gonzalez.
Two pitch. Whacked foul. Down the left field line. was sizzling into the crowd.
A spot where if you could dot a fastball inside, I mean, everything's away. A lot of lefties don't feel comfortable doing that, especially younger lefties. But anything on the inner half, you're going to tie him up here. We'll see it here. It's supposed to be a fastball in.
It was a fastball away as it turned out, but it's playable for Darren Ruff. Oh, man, long run, and he gets there to make the catch. And the side is retired. It's a 1-2-3 eighth inning. It's our first of the night against the Dodgers. Of the 2015 season. Go to Phillies.com and check out those select weekend dates. 4 tickets, 4 Hatfield hot dogs, and 4 Cokes for $100. A great value for families. Well, here we go. Bottom of the 8th inning. Back to the Dodgers bullpen. And Jim Johnson is the next one up. 51st game for Johnson. Over from the Atlanta Braves. The veteran right-hander was the closer for the Braves recently. 9 saves and 14 opportunities. And he will face Odubel Herrera, Michael Franco, and Jeff Francoeur. Odubel's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. One ball and no strikes.
And I really like Baez's stuff. Really did.
What do you think of his pace of play?
It's
he was better today.
Not desired. He was better today.
That's in there. 1-1. Down the left field line, that'll be foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Odubel. Odubel's hit in 7 straight, although that's on the line here. As we play in the bottom of the 8th inning, Phillies down by just 3. They've managed 4 hits. They don't have a hit, though. Or they haven't had a hit since the 3rd inning. That was the double by Michael Franco that drove in the only run. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Herrera. In the dirt, 2-2.
A.J. Ellis just put down a 1 in, and he threw him a breaking ball down and in.
Maybe they're not on the same page of signs just yet.
That's my eyes deceive me, which I don't think they did. That should be a breaking ball.
And it was
it's
a
a
fastball.
fastball.
So he's going with more than, usually they go with 3,
I had
first sign after 1 or whatever when there's a runner on base. Not when there's nobody on, though.
I had pitchers that did that, Jeff Nelson being one of those. 2 was a fastball in, 4 was a fastball away, because he threw his slider so often. We would use 1 as the slider.
Chopper back toward the middle. That'll get into center field, a base hit. It's an 8-game hitting streak for Odubel Herrera. First hit for the Phils since the 3rd. And Michael Franco's coming up.
Pitchers are just quirky sometimes. And that's why I looked. I said, heater in. I'm thinking, here comes heater. And then he throws the 81-mile-an-hour breaking ball. And we see the 2 in. Fastball in. All right.
Then he gave it 2. It was a fastball away.
Yep.
All right, son. There's Franco. Swing and a miss.
Trying to shoot that one to right, Matt.
Yeah, that's the swing right
Trying to hit
there.
that hole.
Overswing, get loose, helmet comes off. Now we'll shorten up and go to right center.
Nobody up in the Phillies bullpen, so right now it's Araujo. It looks like that's going to pitch the top of the 9th inning. At least to start with Ethier due to lead it off inside. 2-1 to Franco.
I gotta believe Franco's happy when a right-hander comes in. Hitting .302 this year with 8 home runs. Under 200 versus lefties.
Surprising that his splits are that drastically opposite of what you expect.
I think he stays on the baseball more when a right-hander's on the mound.
Makes sense, you have to. Last thing you want to do is pull off on a slider.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Michael. Well, they're really trying to crowd him, though. Leadoff batter is aboard.
Have to look in there again, wouldn't you, Matt?
You would think. There's the 2 sign.
Well, they tried to go in again.
I mean, you want to tell yourself as a hitter to be a little quicker in there. Get the bat head through there, but that opens you up. It leaves you vulnerable to that pitch away. Michael choking up a bit.
pulls that one foul. I don't know how he got the bat hit on that one. That one was coming inside even more. No, maybe not as much as I thought.
There was a ball, but better bat control by choking up.
Callaspo couldn't be any more on the line. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, he is hugging it.
Now they're going away.
Breaking ball, and he froze him.
Ooh.
He knew it, too. Threw him all those fastballs with a 9-pitch at bat, 4 foul balls, and he comes back with a breaking pitch.
That's dirty.
What's the knee buckler?
Nice pitch, fella.
All right, so the numbers for Francoeur: 3 for 6 against Johnson. In the air to left field. It's not going to be in the air all that long. It is gone. 2-run home run for Francoeur, and this is a 1-run ball game. Home run of the year for Jeff Francoeur. James Yoa of Ocean City, New Jersey's just won $100 thanks to the McDonald's home run jackpot.
High heater. Frenchie ready for that first pitch heater, I tell you. One-run ball game. Who'd have thunk it?
It's amazing when it gets into the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, how he just steps up, gets a big hit, puts the team ahead, or gets the game within 1 run again.
Well, now Howard is up. That is career home run number 150 for Jeff Francoeur. And a year ago, he probably never imagined he'd get to 150 home runs. Howard pops it up. It should get out of play, and does. And it's 0-2 to Ryan.
Man's always ready to hit, isn't he, Frenchie?
Almost looked like he just said to Steve Henderson, I thought he was going to throw me an off-speed pitch on the first pitch. Well, he adjusted.
Threw him a 4-bagger.
Been fun to watch. The 0-2 pitch coming to Howard. Twinkle toes, 1-2.
That was a short one.
Curveball that bounced about 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate, or in front of Howard. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, Paul Goldschmidt, the National League's leading hitter, has helped the Diamondbacks to a 5-2 lead over the Nationals in the 7th. The Mets lead the Marlins 8-0 in the 9th. The 2-2 pitch coming to Howard. Inside again, 3-2. Darren Ruff on deck. Well, the answer as to whether Ken Giles is available or not. There's your answer. Fastball in there. And there are 2 outs.
You want to see our front door sinker? Look at the movement on that ball.
Wow.
And that's at 95 miles an hour.
That's the pitch they threw to Herrera that he actually struck out on, and they missed it.
Well, now Darren Ruff with 2 outs. He takes a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1.
I don't like to get caught up in velocity too much, but to make a ball run that much at 95, it's hard to do.
Darren has been on base twice tonight, a single and a walk. Boy, that is a pitcher's pitch. I don't know how much of the plate it got. It's a tough one to take a hack at if you're a hitter.
And it's 16 miles on the average difference in his heater.
Yeah. There is that heater at 95.
Now, what do you sit here? I mean, you have to sit fastball, but then he has a snapdragon coming at you.
There is that snapdragon. And he spoils it. J.P. Howe, Kenley Jansen. Would they bring their closer in the 8th inning to get the last out, and then 3 more in the 9th? Jansen is their closer. Down the right field line, that'll get out of play.
Good one to hit there, but you just can't sell out for a fastball right here because of what he did to Franco.
Chopper back off the back off the glove of Johnson. Kendrick has it. And the side is retired, but the Phillies do inch closer here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jeff Francoeur, home run number 150 in his career, number 10 on the season. He got a high fastball and took care of it. It's a 4-3 ball game as we go to the top of the 9th inning here in Philadelphia. It's a 4-3 ball game as the Dodgers come to bat against Elvis Araujo. There's Luis Garcia warming in the pen. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team, 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Araujo is on to face Andre Ethier to start. Will he last the entire inning? Well, depends on what Pete Mackanin is thinking. You got Puig up after Ethier, but you have Peterson up after Puig. Ethier has 2 hits in 4 at bats. Singled in the 3rd, singled in the 4th. Inside and low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Swing and a miss. 1-1. It's that pitch right there that probably looks so good to a left-handed hitter and is so hard to catch up to with the movement, the late movement on it.
The thing about Araujo's fastball is that when he gets on top of it, he gets unbelievable downhill tilt, pinpoint accuracy on the outside corner to left-handers. When he gets underneath it a little bit, it moves like it's almost like getting underneath the sinker. Not a bad thing to do, because if he's going to miss, he's going to miss up and into a left-hander, and one is going to make a left-handed hitter feel very uncomfortable, knowing that at times he can get under a pitch until sailing up under your chin or into your chest or wherever.
I guess, and the size, his height, and just his presence on the mound probably helps in that intimidation. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to Ethier. Got him. 91. 4 up, 4 down for Elvis Araujo. Well, here comes Yasiel Puig, and he's our W. Mason delivery of the game for the night.
Yeah, and this came back in the first inning. Got a hanging curveball right down the middle, hit off the end of the bat a little bit, but got enough with the drive at the deep in left field for an early 3-run lead. W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
Well, that was the extra base hit the Dodgers were looking for to move their consecutive road games. This is an amazing statistic. Consecutive road games with an extra base hit to 97, 30 off the lead or off the record held by the Cardinals. That one's low and in, 1-0.
There's a stat for everything.
There is.
I tell you.
And we will find it. That's a rather lengthy streak, though. 97 games with an extra base hit. One ball, no strikes to Puig. Phillies in there half of the ninth, bottom of the order. Galvis, Ruiz, pitcher spot.
And that homer's the only extra base hit for the night, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, they have 10 hits. They have 18 base runners because of the 8 walks.
See Elvis' velocity down a little bit. But the swing that Ethier had at that fastball that he struck out on just shows that they can't really pick the ball up off him. He hides the ball very well. His size obviously helps. The change up there?
Yeah.
Well, that is a live ball as it gets by Ruiz. It didn't hit Puig. It's ball 4. So the 9th walk issue tonight by Phillies pitching. And it will bring Jock Peterson to the plate. Ball got a piece of the home plate umpire. Carlos just asked him if he was okay. Alan Porter.
Nine walks.
Yeah.
9 times.
And it's 4-3.
It's 4-3.
That's the thing. I mean, they've left the Phils off the hook here. 11 left on base for the Dodgers. Peterson has walked 3 times, and he takes, and it's 0-1.
And out of all those walks, only 1 walk is scored.
Yeah, that was back in the 5th inning. The leadoff walk to Rollins came around to score. He hurt himself on that? Or just dropped the bat?
have his chiropractor on speed dial.
That's what I wondered, if he had done something there.
How old is he?
He's a young kid.
He's fine.
Popped him up. Freddie Galvis out into short left. Now back to the dirt. 2 outs. A little bit of a breeze coming in from left center field. So Peterson's retired. Callaspo's coming up. Despite the walks, hats off to Neris and Araujo if they can get through these last 4 innings without having to use anybody else. Day game tomorrow. 1:05 first pitch. David Buchanan ready to go against Zach Greinke.
I watched Pui at first base, the talent he has, the size of lead he has right now. The foul ball that went over the dugout, no secondary lead, had no lead.
Yeah, you remember when he came up, they said that there were certain things they were still teaching. I mean, they got the best base running instructor, one of the best base running instructors baseball has seen in a long time, over in the first base coach's box. Probably still a whole lot for him to learn and accept. Probably not even learning it. It's probably just accepting it.
No, people say that. I don't buy it. Because he was an outstanding player over in Cuba.
Yeah, but did he play the game the way it's supposed to be played? Who knows? 0-2 pitch.
See, I agree with Tom. I always think there's something to learn in this game. I try and learn something new every day.
Right. I'm not saying there's not.
You're talking about how to play it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, taking the proper secondary, taking your proper lead off. I mean, you shouldn't have to teach that to anyone. The man's talented.
But you would think you'd want to do it. It's your job. Go do it.
2-2.
Like, for instance, earlier the play with Chooch when he decided to try to score from third base when the ball doesn't even get out of the circle. But how are you going to teach someone that?
Oh,
you know, there's certain areas you try to teach people, yeah.
Inside, 3-2.
It's almost like he feels he's invisible out there. No one can see me.
Well, he'll be off and running on this pitch. Out to shallow right field. Here comes Francoeur. And he's there. Side is retired. One more chance for the Phils. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. 9 walks tonight for Phils pitching, but they're down by just 1. Freddie Galvis when we return. to tonight's ball game between the Phils and the Dodgers. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post Game Live. Elvis Araujo, 2 scoreless innings in tonight's ball game. In relief of Hector Neris, who also had 2 scoreless innings. So now here's Kenley Jansen. Jansen, the closer for the Dodgers, 19 saves and 20 opportunities. And he's on the pitch here at the bottom of the 9th inning.
If the Phillies do come back and beat the Dodgers and Kenley Jansen, it would be an awful loss for the Dodgers. Hopefully the Phillies can do it.
Well, the Giants have already won, so they're a game and a half out now in the West. Phil's 13-3 since the All-Star break, the best record in baseball. And Galvis leads it off. Takes outside, 1-0.
That will be a heartbreaker. Jansen, a steady, and I mean steady diet of cutters. If he throws 20 pitches in an inning, 25 will be cutters.
One and two. Strikes him out. He went after a pitch out of the strike zone, and now Carlos Ruiz will be called back, and it looks like Andres Blanco will pinch hit.
Elevated cutter. You're right, man. He throws a lot of cutters. One thing about his cutter, it doesn't have that big break. It's like a Mariano Rivera cutter.
So when we say fastball, his fastball is basically his cutter.
Yeah, he doesn't. The first pitch he threw was a 4-seam fastball away for a ball. Strictly a setup pitch. Thinking in your mind he has a 4-seamer where you know he is going to throw cutter after cutter.
So here's Blanco, then Dom Brown is on deck. Phil's using their bench here. They've used Jordan Danks and Cody Ashe already. Blanco hitting .286. He has 13 extra base hits. 0-1. Yeah, it's a good one tonight. It's moving and it's up in the zone. There was a couple mile-an-hour difference on the last couple pitches. One was a cutter, the other one a 4-seamer. 0-2.
Another 4-seamer. Cutter. 95.
2 outs. And Dominic Brown is the last opportunity for the Phillies.
You can see the late life here. And again, a great point. It's not cutting a whole lot, but it's late. Jansen, a former catcher, got drafted as a catcher. Big arm. Actually, when he was younger, he should throw a bit harder.
They want this one up to Dom. That's a 4-seamer that runs outside. Reminder, tomorrow will be on NBC 10. Zach Greinke against David Buchanan. 1 o'clock. Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Pride of the Phillies print to all fans. If you're 14 and under and coming out to the yard. Moore's kids run the bases after the game. To Major League Scoreboard, this was an 8-0 game. It's now 8-6 in the bottom of the ninth inning with 2 outs. The tying run is at first base for the Marlins. Inside 3-1. Cesar Hernandez on deck. Tom got a good rip.
Well, that's the one you want right there. That's a cutter. Split in the middle. Now you're just hoping he makes another mistake and leaves one out over.
And a strike 3 call. Jansen strikes out the side, and the Dodgers even the series as they hang on and win it by a final score of 4-3. Yasiel Puig's 3-run home run in the first inning. Well, it's what spurred them on, and they never trailed. So Don Mattingly's team maintains a 2-game lead in the National League West. Our Chevrolet player of the game, a guy that got lifted pretty early in this ball game, went 6 innings. That's Brett Anderson.
Very good diet of breaking balls. Philly hitters just could not stay off it. In and out with his fastball. A lot of ground balls. A lot of late life on his fastballs, thus inducing those ground balls. But very impressed with his breaking ball tonight. I really liked his breaking ball, righties and lefties, and that is why he is the Chevrolet player of the game.
So he's back to 500. Dodgers lead is at 2 in the division. We'll be back to wrap it up after a 4-3 victory.